About Time with Rashawn's About Time Boxing, aka Mr. Trill 100 Mil. What's up to my About Time Boxing family and the Trill 100 Mil gang? Thank you to every single one of y'all who has been taking out the time to, first who has been, supporting the channel and taking out the time to watch the videos, like the videos, share the videos, and leave the comments. If you have not already subscribed to the channel and you're watching this video or any of my videos for the first time, please subscribe to the channel. And please encourage others to subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to hit that notification button to stay up on the latest with Rashawn's About Time Boxing. So we're going to get to it. So, all right, I know I haven't put anything up in a while, you know what I mean? So, and I appreciate everybody who been patient, with me. We're not putting nothing up in a while. But anyway, all right, so the talk is 2023, all right, because, all right, we already know, I really didn't want to talk about Crawford and Spence, but we know that the negotiations, the fight didn't come to fruition. So, Bud chose to fight David Avanesyan, he's fighting him next month in December, and Errol Spence still trying to figure out what he want to do. It's rumored that there's a fight date for him to fight Keith Thurman December 17th. But Errol Spence vowed to never fight Errol Spence, and I hope that he sticks to that. You know what I mean? And honestly, I'd rather see him vacate the belt than to fight Keith Thurman anyway. So like I said, there's a rumored date that they're supposed to fight on the 17th of December, but I'd rather see him vacate rather than to fight Keith Thurman. You know what I mean? Like I said, Thurman is corny. He goofy. When Spence was on the chase, he made up all these excuses not to give him a title shot, and now he on the tail end of his career, and he looking in the door. He just looking for a way in. You know what I mean? He just trying to, either get all of the big. I mean, if that's his strategy, you can't knock him for that. But just looking at it from a professional standpoint, you know what I mean? Like, he wasn't being a consummate professional when he was the champion. And it's funny how when everybody on the chase, okay, regardless of what division that they in, everybody claim that they want to prove that they the best, they want to fight the best and beat the best, and then when they get in a position, or they get in a position where they deem themselves comfortable, then all of a sudden, they, you know what I mean, everything becomes, it's, like, once they feel like that their legacy and their status is solidified, then, it's all about the money. Now, don't get me wrong. Prize fighters, Floyd Mayweather, was one of the first people you hear talk about being a prize fighter. And he was like, so he fighting for a prize, and the prize is the money. And, but of course, 6-time world champion, 5 different weight classes. Legacy, is pretty much cemented. I don't think that him fighting, these YouTube guys or whatever, Deji and them other guys, that's going to tarnish his legacy in any way, shape, or form. That clown Jake Paul said something like that. You know what I mean? But that's a whole another situation. But I digress a little bit. But the point that I'm getting to is that, okay, so at some point, Spence going to have to vacate anyway. And because they're saying that if Terrence Crawford, after his fight with David Avanesyan, if he doesn't fight Errol Spence or in 2023, he has to either fight Errol Spence or Jaron Ennis or vacate the belt. And so y'all already know well, those of y'all who know, y'all know where I'm getting ready to go with this one. Yep, Jaron Ennis. So either he's not going to fight Errol Spence. And as a matter of fact, I don't even care if they fight now. Like, honestly, like, I'm not looking for that fight no more. I don't. I feel like that, that fight has been devalued. The value of that fight has went down with, all of the, stuff, shenanigans or games that was going on, on both their sides. You know what I mean? So, Spence said, Crawford did this. Crawford said Spence did, you know what I mean? But now you see everything. If you ask me, I think they both are sharing the blame for why, things didn't, the fight didn't come to fruition. But nonetheless, it's not happening. So this brings me to my point about Jaron Boots Ennis. Okay, so now, and it's funny how they're saying now that Bud has to fight Errol Spence or Jaron in 2023 or vacate the belts. So now all of a sudden Boots is Bud's #1 contender for the WBO. We know he's the mandatory for Errol Spence for the IBF. But this thing with the WBO now, all of a sudden, now why is that? Because I feel like, once again, boxing has slighted Jaron Ennis, and they gave Virgil Ortiz the shot against Emmanuel Stanionis. They gave him the shot for the WBA title against Stanionis. Now, I know Spence was talking about trying to fight Stanionis because, I don't know, because the WBA was trying to regulate this thing where it had to be one WBA champion, because Spence has the super welterweight and Stanionis has the regular. Now that's the belt that he beat Butayev for after Butayev beat Jamal James. And even with all of that, with Jamal James losing a belt to Butayev, Jamal James was elevated. He had an interim, and then somehow he was elevated, but nonetheless he had the WBA regular, and then he lost to Butayev. Butayev lost to Stanionis. And here it is. They give Virgil Ortiz. Now this is nothing. I don't want y'all to misunderstand what I'm saying. I don't want nobody to misconstrue what I'm saying, because I'm not throwing no hate and no shade or nothing like that towards Virgil Ortiz. Has nothing to do with that. I think Virgil Ortiz is a good fighter. However, I know that he's not better than Jaron Ennis. He's not. And I keep telling y'all, Jaron Ennis is a different fighter. He is. And I know y'all say, people say a lot of fighters eat, sleep, drink, you know what I mean? Walk, talk, boxing, all that. I'm telling you, but if the word boxing itself could be described, I'm telling you, it would be this kid. It would be Jaron Ennis. I'm telling y'all, this is how dedicated this kid is. And it's sad, now he's fighting in January. Now, I'm not sure if he's going to be on that, the Tank Garcia undercard. I think he's going to be on that undercard. But here's the thing. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. You have a lot of fighters. I'm not talking about, because they was in this weight class. I'm not talking. Let's take weight class out of the equation. You have a lot of fighters who have gotten better opportunities and became world champion. Some of them with less than 20 professional fights. I think when Sean Porter got his first shot at a world title, he was 17-0. Shakur Stevenson, I think, was probably 12-0. There's a lot of fighters who became world champion with less than 20 fights. Some with just a little more than 20 fights. Now here it is, Jaron Ennis. It's 29-0. 29-0, 28 knockouts. And every time you turn around, it seems like they find some kind of way to just keep slighting him. I don't understand for the life of me, because now remember, Virgil Ortiz got the WBO interim title. So how y'all move him over to of course he was in the rankings of the WBA, but still. Y'all give him the shot against Stanionis and not Jaron Ennis? I'm telling you, I don't know. And listen. Drop the comments in the comment section below and let me know. But I'm telling you, to me, based on my research and things that I've seen and things that I've seen and watched and read and heard, it just seemed like for some reason they always come up with a way to try to pacify Jaron Ennis, Bozy Ennis, Team Ennis. It seemed like they try to pacify him And it's almost like they, like they think they tricking him and, okay, yeah, you're going to get your shot. You're going to get your shot. Then you got some people out there talking about, oh, well, it's not his turn. He got to wait his turn. When is it going to be his turn? How many fights do y'all want him to have before he finally become a world champion or get a title shot? What, he got to be 40-0? Because if he lose one fight, then y'all going to be saying, see, he don't deserve that. But see, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. And see, it was a reason why I didn't put anything up in a while. Because I was tired of covering that Crawford Spence stuff. Yeah, I know the stuff going on about Ryan Garcia and Tank and all that. And I'll do other videos and get to that. But this thing about Jaron Ennis not getting a title shot and having to wait. Because in 2020, it was 2021. Then 2021 came, he was supposed to have a title shot 2022. And listen, I'm going on record and saying right now, Errol Spence or Crawford, neither one of them is going to fight Jaron Ennis. And honestly, I think it would be a smart move for Spence to vacate anyway. And I know, and I found out about this before people started reporting about it. I just didn't put anything up about it. But I got the heads up when Bozy Ennis was sending a letter to the IBF, to petition them to make Spence fight Boots for that title. I knew about that. Firsthand, I got the information. I just didn't put nothing up about it, honestly. It's the honest truth. I found out about it right before that, a few days later I started seeing headlines. Bozy Ennis petitions the IBF, I started seeing all that stuff. But I already knew. But Errol Spence, his reasoning for, unifying those belts, because earlier in his career, he said he wanted to be an undisputed champion. But now that we know that that's not going to happen, because that's the only belt that he does not have is that the Ring Magazine welterweight title is vacant too. Nobody has that. But the WBO, the one that Crawford has. And Crawford, 35 years old. And by his own admission, Bud was supposed to be retired 2 years ago. He said he wanted to be retired by the time he was 33. He's 35 years old. So, Bud, after he fights David Avanesyan, he might as well vacate. He might as well vacate the WBO title, or Errol might as well vacate that IBF title. Now, from what I'm hearing, they're saying that the WBC is either mandated or is going to mandate that Errol Spence has to fight Keith Thurman, or they'll strip him of that belt. So even if they do that, are they going to make Keith Thurman fight people like Virgil Ortiz or Jaron Ennis? Because I don't understand how he even got to be in. I don't even understand how he even became the number one contender for the WBC title. He was inactive for 2 years or something like that? And then they let him pick who he wanted to fight when he came back. And then he chose Mario Barrios. No knock against Barrios. But he chose Mario Barrios, and it was a pay-per-view fight. He couldn't hurt Barrios or stop him in that fight. Tank fought Barrios at 140 and shut him down, stopped him. And now because he fought Mario Barrios and beat him, they elevate him to the number one contender? I feel like if you've been inactive for a certain amount of years, and then you come back, why don't they start mandating that guys like him have to fight guys like Jaron Ennis and Virgil Ortiz and all these other guys? Because what they going to do? They just going to keep giving Jaron Ennis these guys that he's going to continue to look extremely good beating them, and people are going to continue to keep trying to criticize Boots and keep talking about how he's not fighting nobody and all that. He's trying to fight the somebodies. Nobody's not talking about that. And I've been saying this for a while. Jaron Ennis' title shot is overdue. He should already be a champion. And I'm not going to talk about Ed Levine in the WBO welterweight title. I'm not even going to talk about that. You put that belt up one time when he fought Van Heerden, and that's it. And I said it before. To me, Boots is the uncrowned IBO welterweight champion. Whether y'all think that belt means anything or not, there's a lot of fighters who had that belt along with the other belts, and they were unified champion. Heavyweights, all that. IBO, WBA, and WBO. They, you know what I mean? They had them. The belt counts, whether y'all think it does or not. I don't care if y'all think it has, major prestige or counts for anything or not. It counts. And Boots should have that belt. And like I said before, he don't have an interim or lineal type, none of that. He don't have any of that stuff. Everybody else get that stuff though. Virgil Ortiz, Rashidi Ellis, everybody else get this stuff. These interim, these intercontinental, lineal titles, all this kind of stuff. I don't understand. Am I the only one that's questioning, like, why does it seem like, it's taking so long for Boots to get a shot? So now that we know that Bud and Spence, they're not fighting. They're not going to fight. So now there's no reason to hold up the welterweight division or tie up all those belts. The fight Spence said he wanted was the Bud fight. So now he's not getting that fight. Then vacate all the belts and go up to 154. Go ahead, Spence. Go up to 154. But it's time. Jaron Ennis should be a champion already. He should have had multiple title shots already. But I'm telling y'all, his time is going to come. Because I said this before, and I'll say this again. Everybody's journey and destination to the world title is different. And when Jaron Ennis get in that position where he's holding a big slice of that welterweight division, I don't want to hear nobody saying Boots is running from this person, Boots is ducking this person, oh, why won't Jaron fight this guy? I don't want to hear none of that. Because nobody is saying none of that stuff. Boots is making it clear he been wanted to fight all these guys. He said he was ready for these guys 2 years ago or more. And a lot of y'all was saying, oh man, he ain't fighting nobody. I remember people sending me messages like, man, he fighting taxi drivers and this, that, and the third, and Uber driver, all this kind of stuff. Trying to insult and disrespect that man's career, but y'all praising Jake Paul for fighting over the hill people, over the hill retired MMA fighters, and a basketball player. But y'all giving Jake Paul credit for that? What? I mean, the state of boxing? Wow. Sad. Because boxing today is not like it was when the best really fought the best. It wasn't about the money. I'm talking about when you had all of the guys, different weight classes were around. Julian Jackson, Hector Camacho, Julio Cesar Chavez, Marvin Hagler, Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns, Nate Miller. Yeah, I said Nate Miller. Meldrick Taylor, Terry Norris. When you had all these guys around back then. Michael Nunn, Mark Breland, Mark Johnson, Nate Campbell. Juan Diaz, when the best, when the best really fought, Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, when the best fought the best. And it wasn't really about the money. And it's sad because a lot of those guys from back then should be super rich. They were getting ripped off. But they were fighting the best. Iran Barkley. Like they really wanted to prove that they was the best. They wanted to get in there and fight the best. That's why I don't know if y'all remember when Boots was on the undercard of Jamal James and Boots Hayat. And they asked him about all that stuff. Boots said, man, I'm not worried about the money and all that. Some of y'all saying, oh, he should be. But all that stuff is going to come. Y'all see what happened with Floyd. Nobody thought Floyd was worth fighting. And look at what happened. And I'm telling y'all, the same thing is going to happen with Jaron Ennis. Watch. But Jaron Ennis' title shot is long overdue. He should be a world champion already. And it's sad that, once again, there's more of this boxing bulk, you know what I mean, bias, bullshit, more of this stuff going on. Now he got to wait till 2023. And then if Bud don't fight him, he got to fight Spence or vacate. He's not going to fight Spence. And they're going to drag that whole vacating the belt thing out. Either one of those guys. He's already a mandatory for the IBF title. Spence already said himself, he trying to figure out what he's going to do next. Don't figure out what you're going to do next. You got a mandatory for the IBF right there. Jaron Ennis. He's your mandatory. Fight him. You ain't got to figure out what you want to do next. Spence said that. He put that up on Twitter on his account. He said, oh, this guy went and did this, messed everything up. Now I got to figure out what I'm trying to do. You ain't got to figure it out. You have a mandatory for that belt. You have a mandatory. Your mandatory is Jaron Ennis for that IBF title. Fight him. Y'all drop the comments in the comment section below. Y'all let me know, you know what I mean? Am I overreacting? Once again, am I overreacting? Or do y'all feel like Jaron Ennis has been slighted in some way, shape, or form? Has he been slighted? Is boxing slighting Jaron Boots Ennis? Because I feel like he should have had his title shot already. Y'all let me know what y'all think.